No, there's something that can be done about it. Anything that can be put apart or built up by people, anything that can be put together by people can be taken apart by people. But you have to know how it's put together.
Right.
In order to do it in a manner that makes sense. And if you're not aware that it is together and how it works, and this is why the statement in the front of the textbook for victims of racism is, if you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. And that's going to be the result. So the result is what you're looking at is confusion. Now you're looking at refined versions of confusion all over the place. And people who are confused, confusion is sort of like the preface to a lot of other things that shouldn't be happening, like anger, frustration. When you're confused, you get angry, you get frustrated, and then you just lash out. And you lash out at whoever happens to be standing near you that you perceive as being weaker than you. That's sort of a normal reaction among all confused organisms. On a one-on-one basis, under some instances that has happened. I mean, people know how to deal with it, and it becomes codified to a degree. But there's nothing that is orchestrated on a long-term basis and on a consistent basis. That's why what is needed is a counter-racist code. The racists go by a code. It's very precise in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. It just about covers everything that people are engaged in from one moment to the next, all over the planet, any time of day or night, engaging in one or more of those activities, and all of these activities are interactive, meaning what happens in politics affects what happens in religion. What happens in religion affects what happens in sex. What happens in sex affects what happens in economics. What happens in economics affects what will happen in the fields of education and entertainment, and so on and so on. So the racists have figured out how to dominate the non-white people in all of these areas, and they have a code for doing so for each one of the categories. They have a way of going about doing everything that they do. The victims of the system of racism don't have any such thing that corresponds in power or even in the understanding of what is going on. So they just jump up and do anything. When something happens in the field of education, they just don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. They don't know what the goals are. Nothing. They're all dependent on consulting the white supremacists and say, what do we do, about our situation? What are we supposed to be learning? And what for? For what ultimate goal? And where should we have a school? And what should we teach in the school? And in order to accomplish what? So people who are completely subjugated are just kind of wandering around bumping into each other. And then they start fighting because they did bump into each other. And this is sort of the pattern, and can be expected.